What's happening, guys? We're back. We're gonna try to clean up the brake system today. All right, so we are so close on the brake system. We should be able to get it done today. I went out and found another spool of hardline. I had to go to about 3 or 4 different shops before I could find somebody that sold it in a spool, but we got that, so we should have everything we need to finish up the hardline. I came out here a little bit early and got a head start on the rear hardline, which was almost done, but it was a little bit short. So I happened to find a little scrap piece. This was actually a piece that I was demoing flares on last week. And I bent it up and it'll be just long enough to finish everything up in the car. But I put a flare on that end, and of course, I forgot to put a tube nut on it. So I need to cut this flare off and slide a tube nut on there, put a new flare on it. I need to flare the line that's in the car already, and then couple them together with one of these little female-female unions. That'll be the rear hard line done. Front hard line is done up to the front, I don't know, cross member, sure, where it's gonna tee off and go to both front brakes. So we need to do a little bit more hardline work there. I got some brackets welded on over the last week, so we got some targets. So we need to bend up some hardline up there. Before we do that though, we need to take some measurements because I'm gonna go and get a drive shaft made. So let's cut this flare off, reflare them, get that rear brake line done, and then we'll measure everything up for a drive shaft, and then we can move on to the front brakes. So let's do it. All right, we got all our measurements. Basically, you need to measure, because I have a companion flange on the rear axle rather than a standard yoke, standard U-joint yoke. I got a flange, so I have to give my drive shaft guy all the measurements of the flange, the pilot, that little like raised center section. He needs to know that. He needs to know bolt circle and bolt sizing. So I got those, and then they need to know how long it is. So to do that, because we have this slip yoke still from the original engine, and it's still in pretty good shape, it needs new bearings and a new U-joint, but that's what the drive shaft guy's for. So what you do is you push this yoke all the way into the transmission and then back it out about 3/4 of an inch, and then you measure from the center point of this eye, and you measure back to the flange. If you had a U-joint flange on there, you just measure center point of the eye to center point of the eye with the yoke in that, you know, backed out position, and that'll give you your drive shaft length. For us, the total length is 19.5 inches. So it's gonna be pretty short. The actual drive shaft, like a U-joint to U-joint, is only gonna be like, I don't know, 15 inches, but should work. So I got all the measurements. I'll take those to the drive shaft guy tomorrow, He's about a week turnaround, so hopefully next week we'll have a drive shaft to bolt in. I got the rear brake lines flared and they're kind of bolted up there. Next step is to move on to the front brakes, but I'm all out of time tonight, so I'm gonna catch up with you guys tomorrow. And we're back. Got the drive shaft dropped off. Unfortunately, they can't use that slip yoke. I thought they'd be able to just put a interchange U-joint or something on it, but it's some weird U-joint style, so they can't use that slip yoke off of the Nissan transmission, but I work with a really good driveline shop here in Calgary, Pat's Driveline, and he's gonna do some searching around and find a new slip yoke that has the same spline pattern and seal diameter, and build the drive shaft using that guy. So that's done. I found some more brake line, so we can continue on with the hard lines. We have, the rears are done. We just need to do the fronts now. We have kind of the main hard line that comes off the master cylinder, runs down to the front of the car where this little T-block will go, and then that'll distribute it out to the calipers. So that's the goal today. If anybody watched the episode last week where I was showing you guys how to flare brake lines, and at one point I said, hey, make sure you remember to put your tube nuts on your brake line before you flare them, and you guys watched this all went, oh, I'd never forget to put my tube nut on, that'd be silly. I did. I've done it twice now, so I have a flare on the end of that main line down to the front, but I don't have a tube nut on it. So I need to cut that off and re-flare it, and then we can mount that block and then build the hard lines out. Luckily, that flare or that brake line is in the most inconvenient place possible, so that's perfect. So I'm gonna lay on my back here, cut that off, do another flare. You guys probably won't be able to see anything because it's buried in the front of the car, but we'll get that done and then we can start bending some lines. All right, we got all the lines done. All the hard lines are run. We connected up the front calipers there with those little, these little -3 AN soft lines. So our brake system is completely plumbed. The next step is gonna be filling it all with fluids and bleeding it, which is gonna be a nightmare, but that's what we gotta do next. Unfortunately, I went to fill up my reservoirs with brake fluid and I only have like that much left. So definitely not enough to fill all the lines and bleed it. So I'm gonna have to pick up some brake fluid, but I don't have time to do that today. So that's where we're gonna end the episode. We got the whole brake system plumbed. That's basically done, which is great. We are like that close to driving this car. Unfortunately, there's like 4 inches of snow on the ground, but c'est la vie. So that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what we do here, consider subscribing to us on Patreon. Patreons get these videos a week early, as well as some other kind of odds and ends. We are also going to be looking at starting a Patreon only project in the near future, so keep your eyes open for that. If you don't like it that much, but you still like it, hit the like and subscribe button. Go check us out on Instagram, Left Foot First Media, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. I'm out of here.